what is to be realized is the reality of the self, which alone exists, solitary, and, as the Upanishads say, one without a second. That is, you must realize that self to be the only self there is, and the only existence. Where there is duality, there is illusion. That is, duality is a product of delusion. So if you consider yourself to be one thing, and the absolute self, or Brahman, God, another, then you ought to inquire and determine what precisely is your nature. If you inquire or attempt to find out about this, assuming you are one thing and other, apart from the real self, that's not the best way. The thing to do is to start with your very existence, which is always singular. The very fact of your existence, and determine what that being actually is. It is not an object, it is not something you do. This inquiry pertains to who you are. As the Maharshi points out time and again in his instruction, if we imagine ourselves to be an individual, an I notion, an I thought, as he calls it, that is the conception of another. And if we imagine a this, a world of our experience, in which I is always implicit, that is also an other. When we see reality without other, then we are free of delusion and the consequence of delusion, which is imagined bondage or suffering. In truth, your being is that which is unborn, indivisible, and imperishable. It is that which is utterly undifferentiated and never formed into anything other than what it is. There is no other for it. If we consider ourselves to be other than it, then we imagine bondage, as was said before. And we also make efforts to get back to that which we are all the time. Effort best applied is in knowing oneself and finding out how your being never changes, never becomes other than what it is. And what it is the Absolute itself, or Brahman. If you say you become misidentified with something, the body and mind, something in the world, you become attached to something. All of such is based on the idea of another. For whom is this other? If we inquire like this, the false sense of a limited I and all notions of otherness vanish because they're merely illusory, merely imagined. If we know ourselves along these lines, then it becomes readily comprehensible why such a great sage as Shankara would say that all this is Brahman, or all this is the self, and also Brahman or the self alone is. And also, there is no other, there is no world. All these statements signify the same thing. The invariable, immutable, indivisible reality, which is what in truth you are. Imagine yourself to be a distinct thing, and there'll be all kinds of other things. Know yourself for what you really are, and the knower and the known being identical, there is no other thing. That is no I, no world of experience for this I. Just one, eternally existing, being, consciousness, bliss. If there is the notion, something obstructs my realizing the truth, what is this other thing that would get in the way between yourself and yourself? And who would be separated? By what? If you examine your nature in this manner, there is nothing obstructing the realization of the self. This is why the Maharshi has said that we only loosely speak of realizing the self, how to make real, or more real, that which is already real. It is simply a matter of abandonment of ignorance. And the reality's knowledge of itself, the self's knowledge of itself, stands self-revealed. Inquire within yourself and know yourself as you are, as that which alone is. And if at any point you have a question, feel free to ask. Or if you wish to relate your own experience, please feel free to do so.